I get the opportunity to introduce our last speaker, Craig Harper, and he's one of my favourites. He is one of Australia's leaders presenters, writers and educators in the areas of health, high performance and personal transformation. Craig's been an integral part of the Australian fitness industry since 1982, and in that time has worked as an exercise scientist, corporate speaker, consultant, university lecturer, AFL conditioning coach, radio host, TV presenter, writer and successful business owner. As well as having written for the Herald Sun newspaper, numerous magazines and authoring 5 books, Craig delivers more than 100 corporate presentations annually. So here's Craig.
I was just being wired up.
I don't know that I'm
Your husband was feeling me up inappropriately out the back. I didn't want to come out. It was so good.
You and my husband always have this thing before you...
Well, you'll find us spooning later in the foyer. It's where I'll be.
So we're going to do book signings for Damon and for Craig at the back of this room at the end of the session, so you guys can walk downstairs. Okay, and here is Craig Harper.
Thanks, Elaine and Lee. Awesome. Wow, very loud. Good audio. Good audio. Are you all buggered? Have you all got cerebral overload? Bit of cognitive fog? Just stand up for 1 sec. I'm not going to make you do anything silly. All right, just take all your clothes off, just quick. Nah, just kidding. Just arms up, just for a sec. Goody, just move around 1 sec and have a seat. Perfect. All right, so I was thinking I probably should have planned something, you know. Oh well, freestyle. So what I wanted to do was try to bring it all together. So you guys have heard a huge amount of information. Put up your hand if there's been a light bulb or several light bulb moments for you. Fantastic. Put up your hand if there's something that you've realised that you need to change very soon. Okay, someone tell me what that is. Anyone? You need to move more. What else? Change what? I thought you said change partners. I was going to go. Hey, Brian, see ya. What else? Education in schools. What about on a personal level? Good though. What else? A gratitude journal. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to try to bring this together. I've got 10 questions for you. Those of you who've got a pen and paper, I'd really like you to write. The reason I want you to write is because the reality of a day like this is that you will forget most of what you've heard. That's life, right? This is how conferences and summits work, and I really hope that we can turn the theory, the information into application. Put up your hand if there's something that you want to change in your world or your life or your health state. Anyone? Cool. So what we know with change is that change is not a theory, change is not an idea, change is not a concept, change is a process. It's a journey, and that we know that change lives in the application of the information, right? We're the most knowingest generation ever, knowing about health, knowing about wellness, knowing that all the stuff that the guys have taught you about sugar and the different kinds of fats and how to move your body, how to manage your health state, knowing what to buy and what not to buy and knowing what to look for on labels and having great understanding and insight and knowledge doesn't equal transformation. All it equals is more knowledge and more information. When does it equal transformation? When you start doing something with it, right? So the challenge for you guys is not to understand everything and remember everything. That's part of it, but the real challenge is to recognise what resonates for you and to not spend another year waiting for the right time. Is to go, all right, well, this is what I need to do. What gets in the way? What gets in the way of people taking information or taking that light bulb moment and turning it into a thing, turning it into a practical real world result? I'll tell you what often gets in the way. Inconvenience. What else gets in the way is discomfort. It's a bit hard. What else gets in the way is life. What else gets in the way is that it doesn't necessarily fit in our little paradigm of how we do things. So sometimes, put up your hand if you'd like to be successful, just show me quickly. Okay, everyone wants to succeed, so I just want to ask you, moving forward off the back of today, in relation to today, in relation to the information, in relation to the light bulbs, what is success for you? Because if you can't define it, you're not going to create it. Does that make sense? So it's great to say I want to be successful, I want to create change, I want to create a better lifestyle, I want to create a better health state. Now what I'm saying to you is get clear about what that means specifically to you. So for some people, improved health state is lower blood pressure. For some people, it's greater mobility and flexibility. For some people, it's less back pain. For some people, it's lower cholesterol. For some people, it's making the Olympic team. For some people, it's having massive biceps, but who would want that? That's superficial and insignificant. But apparently some people are driven by such shallow things. So get clear about what it is for you that you want to do, be, create. So once you've got clarity about what success is for you, the next thing for you is to make a decision. Not make a decision next week, next month or next year, but make a decision today. What's the decision I need regarding what I've heard today, regarding all these great speakers and the great insights and the great information and the light bulb moments? What's the decision I need to make? Not what's the easy decision, not what's the comfortable decision, not what's the popular decision, not what's the one that everybody will love, but what's the decision that will create the result I want. And then the next thing off that is regarding what I want: fitter, leaner, lighter, stronger, healthier, happier, sexier, more productive, more empowered, better mindset, more calmness, more clarity, more energy. Regarding what I want, what for me, moving forward, needs to be non-negotiable. What needs to be non-negotiable? What do I want to do, be, create? What do I want to change? What do I want to influence? So for me, for example, I'll give you an example of a non-negotiable. My non-negotiables are, here's a couple: I train every day of my life unless I'm sick or unless I practically can't get there, like I'm in airports or something. I don't train like an idiot, I don't train 10 hours a day, but I move my body every day of my life. That's a non-negotiable. I'm not saying everyone should do that, that's a Craig rule. And your rules for you, they're optional. Do I train like a maniac? No. Do I train in an unhealthy manner? No. I move my body a bit, I lift a few weights, I stretch a bit, I do a bit of cardio, and I do it for 30 to 60 minutes a day, and then I forget about it. Why do I do it? Because moving my 52-year-old body is good. What's another non-negotiable? I don't drink alcohol ever. Why? Because I don't want to. It's not good for me. I've never drunk, I've never been drunk. That doesn't mean you shouldn't, that doesn't mean other people shouldn't drink, but me, that's a Craig rule. Here's the thing about you being you and you being the boss of you, is that you get to figure out what's non-negotiable for you. You get to figure out what your standards, values, habits and behaviours are. How do we figure those out? Well, tell me what you value. Do you value health? Do you value awesome relationships? Do you value being respected? Do you value knowledge and education? Of course. Well then, once we figure out what our values are, then it's pretty easy to figure out what's non-negotiable for us. Does that make sense? So get clear about what you want to do, be, create. Get clear about your values. And once we're clear about what it is that success is for us, once we're clear about what our values are in relation to all this stuff, then we can figure out easily how to live in alignment. Because when I'm living in alignment, then my behaviour is reflective of and consistent with my values and my definition of, or my version of, success. So if you guys were going home tonight and on the way home you drove past McDonald's and sitting in the drive-thru was me getting getting some McNuggets with a cigarette in my hand and a can of beer on the dash, you'd go, that big dickhead, out of alignment. Pinocchio at McDonald's just loading up. Wouldn't you? You'd go, what? After all that stuff he said, look at him, and all of a sudden, I wouldn't be living my values, I'd be out of alignment, and you'd respect me less, you probably wouldn't respect me at all. Am I right? Make sure I go to Hungry Jack's then. All right. Okay, so here's the first question. What have I learned? Write it down for me. What have I learned? What have I learned? What do I now know that I didn't know? What have I learned today? Remember, transformation lives in the application of the information. Learning something is awesome. Doing something with that knowledge, with that learning, with that insight is where transformation lives. Question number 2, what am I committed? What am I committed to doing? Notice I don't say, what am I motivated to do? Why don't I say that? Anyone who knows me, yell it out. Why don't I say, what am I motivated to do? It's temporary. So when we talk about motivation, put up your hand, by the way, if you're more motivated than you were at the start of the day. It'll pass. Wednesday, you'll be back to your shitty self. I'm just gagging. What am I saying really? I'm saying you're human, you're normal. We go through peaks and troughs of motivation. Who goes through peaks and troughs? Who has good days and bad days? Who has days where they're in the zone and days where they're on the couch? Me too, because it's called being human. So how do we create lasting change? How do we create forever results? Because here's what we don't want, you to hear all these great speakers and get all this great information and then run around with your undies on your head for 2 weeks doing that and creating amazing results, and then the wheels fall off the U-wagon and you spiral into the abyss and eat your own weight in Tim Tams. Right? So what we want is, instead of motivation helping us get there, we want a real cognitive shift, and that is we want to shift our default setting. So when we think about what happens on a conscious and a subconscious level, about 5% of all the stuff that goes on between your ears is conscious. You're thinking, you're listening, you're writing a to-do list, you're wondering what time this will finish, and you'll be thinking, how many of Craig's books should I buy? 5, 6, I don't know. That's all on a conscious level, right? But on a subconscious level, that's your normal operating system. All the stuff that you do on autopilot, all the stuff that you do automatically, that ongoing, those processes, those cognitive wheels are turning. You get up in the morning, you clean your teeth, you have a wee, you have a shower, you do the things you do. It's almost autopilot, isn't it? And that's kind of hardwired into your normal operating system. But the problem is, when we want to change something in our life, when we want to move from here, this is where we are, to there, and we rely on motivation or we rely on momentum, we're always going to struggle because we go through peaks and troughs. So here's what normally happens. We get motivated, we make a decision, we change our behaviour, we start to produce some results, and then we see a shift in reality, which is awesome. But then when it's all driven by motivation, it's going to be temporary, because when the motivation goes, and it will, then we've got no kind of basis anymore, because when we're not motivated, we don't do all the other stuff. So instead of being motivated, a temporary emotional state, what we want is a complete, total cognitive commitment to be able to do that thing. So for example, when someone says to me, hey, is it hard for you to stay motivated to go to the gym? It's a redundant question, because I don't stay motivated to go to the gym because I don't go there or not go there because of motivation. I go there because that's my normal operating system. Does that make sense? So what we need to do is go, well, all right, for For me, in terms of my health state, in terms of what I want to do be create change with my body or my lifestyle or my life, what for me needs to be an all-the-time habit. Not a sometimes when I'm excited behaviour. When people go to me, oh, I'm in the zone, I'm like, get out of it. It's not a good place to be in the zone, because when you're in the zone, I know you're going to get out soon. Stuff the zone, just get in that place, that transcendent place where this is just how you live. The problem with us in our culture is that we go on and off stuff all the time. I'm doing this. Awesome. What happens when you stop? Rather than just changing our default setting, going, this is how I eat. Not this is how I eat while it's leading up to my wedding. Not this is how I eat while I'm on this 8-week program. Not this is how I move while I'm on my 3 weeks of motivation after seeing this or doing that. But this is how I move my body now. This is how I manage my health now. This is how I eat now. This is my normal operating system. So on some level, we need to understand that all of this great stuff that we've heard today, our awareness, our insight, our physiological potential, it's all driven by this. You can be the most knowing person in Australia and be morbidly obese and out of shape and unfit. Because with all your knowledge, you're still sitting on the couch watching Oprah eating Cheetos. Because knowledge doesn't dictate necessarily behaviour. Knowledge is important. Don't underestimate it and don't misinterpret what I'm saying. Knowledge is potential power. Information is potential power. But now, having been fed all of these great speakers and all of this great information all day, it's your responsibility to say, right, what am I doing with it? What am I doing with it? What decisions am I making? What am I going to change from tomorrow or from tonight? What matters to me? And how will that happen? What's the cost? What question are we up to? 3. What happens when the motivation goes? Write that down, you've already got the answer. When the motivation goes, doesn't matter, because you're totally, irreversibly, 100% cognitively, intellectually, mindfully committed to certain behaviours. Number 4, and we don't have time to unpack this. Leanne, how long to go? 13 minutes. Oh, awesome. Oh, I'm just going to slow down. So anyway, on my 8th birthday, it was tough. No one came. Yeah, sure, I was fat, had no friends. Yeah, just kidding. I ate my own body weight in chocolate cake. Number 4 is, what's not working in my life? What's not working in my life? And that could be what's not working in terms of my health, or what's not working in terms of the way that I eat, what's not working in terms of my relationships, what's not working in terms of how I communicate. What's not working in terms of my self-talk. Who's an overthinker? How's that working out? Shit. Yeah, okay, here's step 4, don't overthink. What's the byproduct of overthinking? Stress, anxiety, adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, elevated heart rate, blood pressure. Other than that, it's great. Other than that, really good. Thinking good, overthinking bad. Why do we overthink? Where's it come from? Pardon? Very smart. It's a byproduct of fear, anxiety, all of those things. Procrastination, hesitation, avoidance, overthinking, fear. So what are you scared of? There's nothing wrong with being scared. I'm scared often, but there's a difference between being silly in the face of fear and being courageous. It's okay to be fearful of something, but to still do it because you know it's the thing that you need to do. One of our problems, I believe, this is a Craig Harper opinion, in our culture is that we are too addicted to comfort and convenience and quick fixes, right? And so because of that, we don't want to do anything hard. I'm 52, I've been doing this for 34 years, and I can tell you that where the transformation and the growth and the change lives for most people is in the tough stuff. Sometimes there is no quick fix. Most of the time there is no quick fix. Sometimes a girl came to me not long ago and she said, I want to do what you do. I did a coaching session with her and she said, I want to be where you are now in 18 months and I'll do whatever it takes. And she's starting from scratch and I've been doing it for 100 years and I'm awesome, right? And no, I'm definitely not awesome. But she said, I'll do whatever it takes. And I said, well, what if whatever it takes is 20 years? She went, nah. Nah. See, because everything comes at a cost. Everything comes at a price. Great marriage comes at a price. Great business comes at a price. Running this summit, I can't even begin to tell you the price, but Leanne can. And the price is on many levels. Right? Creating your best health state comes at a price. Who of you have ever had a friend who was kind of a friend, I use the term loosely, tried to derail or sabotage your endeavours to eat well? Right? Oh my God, really? Get new friends. Like, here's the thing. Sometimes, this is not a very popular thing to say, but it's the truth. Sometimes the people who will be bothered by your success are the people close to you. So you need to go, oh, well, that's cool. That's how it is. That's okay. Some people will support you and celebrate it. That's awesome. But get clear about what matters for you. How do you need to eat? Not what do other people think you should eat. Not what's the consensus in the room. How do you need to manage your life and your body? How do you need to move your body? What decisions do you need to make? Not what do other people think you should do, what do you need to do? And if that bothers people, bad luck. Because you're not trying to change their body or their personal reality, you're trying to self-manage you optimally. Because all of this is about self-management. All of this is figuring out, how do I take the things that are relevant that I've heard today? How do I put that into practice? How do I stop wasting my time? How do I stop wasting my potential? Who feels like, honestly, you've wasted some of your potential? Yeah, me too. How do I use more of my potential? How do I create more how do I explore my possibilities and my passion? How do I walk the talk? How do I make sure that this is the last time? This is not attempt number 462 of 9,000. Like, this is the time. How do I do that? All right, write down this question for me. Where will I start? Where will I start? What's the first thing? Maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's a decision, maybe it's acknowledging something, maybe it's making an apology. Here's the thing, we're all flawed, we're all amazing, we're all brilliant, we've all got great potential, and we're all flawed, and that's okay. We don't need to be right. I was talking to Elaine. Where's Elaine? I was talking to Elaine before, who's a GP, enjoys water sports and meeting people. She's a Pisces looking for love, and we'll be spooning later too. #fullofshit.com. All right. We were talking about this thing called cognitive dissonance and how what happens sometimes is people have known or thought something for a long time, and she's a brave woman. I believe in the medical kind of space where a lot of people think A and Elaine thinks B, and not only does she think B, but she teaches B because she knows it works, and there's other people going, I'm not sure about B, we've been doing A for 400 years. It's uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes it's our willingness to get uncomfortable, because the dichotomy is that on the one hand we want to be comfortable and safe and we like familiar and we don't want to get too far out of our little bubble that we live in, but at the same time we want to be powerful, we want to grow, we want to learn, we want to create amazing results. Well, you can't have both. So if you want to grow and become stronger emotionally, mentally, physiologically, if you literally want to get stronger, then do the hard things, because where the hard things are, I'm talking about the right hard thing, that's where the growth is. That's where the real transformation is. We were talking also out the back about coming out here and speaking. How many of you, be honest, I'm not going to make you, would be terrified of standing up here and talking to the group? So there would be a big fear thing here. Here's what happened if I drag you up. You'd be terrified, might do a little bit of wee, who knows? Maybe a little, no. But the first time you'd be terrified, second time less terrified, third, fourth, fifth, and everyone's into it and you're getting a bit of da-da-da. By the 10th time, the experience would be totally different. Even though you're doing the same thing in the same place, talking to the same audience, performing the same task, your experience would be different because you're different. Does that make sense? See, because here's the thing, there is no universal reality. There is a universal reality in a sense, but where you and I live mainly is in our personal space. You know, we've got 350 people in the room all listening to the same guy at the same time, and no one's having the same experience. Why is no one having the same experience? That's because all I am is a stimulus on a stage, sharing some words, making noises and certain sounds and moving body parts, making the cameraman's job very hard. And then you guys are listening and interpreting and telling yourself a story about what I'm saying. Does that make sense? And that's where your reality lives. So some people are going, this is fascinating. Some people are going, I'm confused. Some people are going, I've got to get home and apply this. Some people are going, why is he wearing his little brother's shirt? And some are going, I really should have had a wee before this started, right? But all of your experiences are created by you, not me. So what makes something hard? Thinking. It's like when someone goes to me, oh, that's a stressful situation. And you go, but what about that guy? He's in the middle of it and he's not stressed. Or maybe it's just a situation. So if there's someone in a situation that's stressful, but they're not stressed, then maybe there's no such thing as a stressful situation, but rather just a stress response generated by thinking in a place. Are you with me? What am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you that consciously or not, intentionally or not, for better or worse, you are going to create your own reality moving forward, and you're creating it right now. If you start to tell yourself stories about why what I'm talking about doesn't relate to you and now's not a good time to start and he doesn't understand my situation, that's cool. But if you're one of the people that a light bulb goes on and you go, all right, this is it. I didn't plan on this being it, but this is it. I'm in. I'm in. I'm going to use my talent, use my time, use my potential, take a chance, get uncomfortable, and I'm actually going to be the person who applies the information because I want real results. I don't want to take a whole lot of theory on board that I don't do anything with. Because the problem is you and the solution is you. Thanks for your time.